first of all, I would like to welcome everyone. And I'm really grateful that you managed to come today, that I'm not sitting by myself in front of the screen. We will be continuing on the issue of entrepreneurship and innovation. And as far as I remember, we've barely finished with core themes in entrepreneurship research, and we will move slowly through the next parts. Actually, we will have to speed up a bit, but not by much. We are basically on time, so we should be able to focus on all core issues related to entrepreneurship and creativity in a business. So it's early in the morning, so I have to wake up a bit as well. But I hope that you will find this meeting instructive. So guys, can we move on? Can we start? Okay, wonderful. So guys, last time we've been talking about entrepreneurship, what it is related to. We've been discussing, oh, sorry, not this keyboard again. We've been discussing basically about the structure of our course, about innovation, creativity. We discussed how innovations can make a difference. We also covered entrepreneurship, how it drives innovation to create the value. And the key topics is creativity, entrepreneurship, and creating value. And these are actually three core themes that are underlying everything when we talk about entrepreneurship. So there are basically three dimensions which we have to account for if we talk about entrepreneurship in organizations. The first thing is creativity and innovation, which is at the very heart of every entrepreneurial activity. So no matter what company are we talking about, whether it is Apple, whether it is Siemens, or any other brand you can imagine, it's all about being creative, being different, being better than competitors. That's the first thing. The next thing is always related to risk-taking, and risk-taking is especially challenging since important in business, because every type of a business involves some risk, and this risk results from different environmental pressures, from changes in the environment, from the dynamism of the environment, from the complexity of the market the company is operating in. So risk-taking essentially also comprises of important part of the business. And finally, no one can become an entrepreneur by doing nothing. So the third pillar of entrepreneurship is proactiveness. And what you see is actually called, it's the core of one of the key concepts that is called entrepreneurial orientation. And entrepreneurial orientation is basically, it's a concept that says that every entrepreneur has to be creative and innovative, has to take a risk, and he or she has to be proactive, which means has to act in order to pursue its goals, its aims. Okay? So I hope this is quite clear. These core themes in entrepreneurship reflect something that we cannot measure, we cannot see as such, because there is nothing like entrepreneurial orientation that can be observed. We just can observe this phenomenon, this issue, by watching others who are doing some business, by watching their creativity, innovation, risk-taking, and proactiveness, how they act. Well, you might argue that every business, no matter which one we talk about, is characterized by these three things to some extent, and you will be true. However, the best entrepreneurs excel in every dimension. And I wanted to give you some examples to illustrate it. So Have we been discussing Misala perfumery last time? Because I don't remember exactly what examples did I give you. Perfumes. Okay, wonderful. So if you look at this example, you can notice that they are highly creative with the choice of the perfumes they are selling. The owner of Misala company took a significant risk by coming into e-markets with very expensive perfumes in the society that was very poor back in 1990s. And she's also very proactive. So she,
Excuse me.
yeah,
I don't know if it's just me, but I can see the slide with that creativity and innovation, risk taking and proactiveness. I don't know if I should see something else.
no,
What
that's okay. I'm just illustrating. I will just show you in a minute.
Okay, okay,
Exactly what I'm displaying. That's great, Rebecca. Thank you for that point.
okay.
No worries. If we are talking about Misala, she risked a lot by starting a business. She had to invest to purchase all the perfumes in order to be able to sell them later. And she was very proactive all the time. And there are numerous other examples. And I think I didn't show you another example of a great business idea that started quite recently, I should say, like 10 or 12 years ago. Um, just a second, I will just switch the screen. Ah, okay, just a second. I will just switch to another screen. Just a second, please give me a moment. Okay, so what you can see right now, can you see it? Oh, not this one. This is my email. Sorry. Can you see the web page? Have you heard about the company Warby Parker?
Yeah, we can see.
But have you heard about it?
No.
No. So this is basically the company that was founded by students in the USA like 12, maybe 13 years ago, when they decided that they want to sell glasses online, which is itself, as for nowadays standards, nothing really new, nothing really innovative. However, the basic idea behind this company is that they wanted to supply other people who could not afford to spend a significant amount of cash on new glasses with the opportunity to buy them with reasonable prices that would be well designed and could be available online, so that the newer generation that is actively using e-commerce companies offerings uh, would be able to buy it comfortably from the seat at your home. So usually when we think about buying glasses, we think about going to uh, at least the older generation. I don't know how it is about you. Maybe you were buying glasses online. I mean, the glasses that would basically correct your eyesight, not the glasses for summer and things like this. So uh, this company was founded 13, 14 years ago. It was quite novel at the time, and they thought everyone should have an access to glasses that are relatively cheap, well designed, because actually production of glasses is not expensive. What you pay for when you buy glasses, you basically pay for two components. And there is a third one, which is usually hidden and you don't see it. You pay for the frames of the glasses, right? Okay, here I got my glasses. Okay, these are the old ones. And you pay for frames and you pay for the correction lens when you have problems with your eyesight, right? So, um, is it expensive? How do you think? How much does it cost to produce a frames like these? How much does it really cost when you want to produce glasses?
Not much, I think.
Well, actually, it's estimated to be a couple of dollars. So it should be around 4 or 5 US dollars to actually produce uh, the frames. And it doesn't really matter whether these frames are very complicated or easy. Because of the mass production, you are fully able to capitalize on cheap production costs. So it is really cheap to produce, to mass produce frames. And actually, if you go to any optician and you want to buy frames for you, you are paying like 10 times the price that it costs to actually produce. 10 times, 100 times frequently. Because if you buy glasses, for example, from Gucci, yes, Susanna, do you wanted to say something?
No, it was just a mistake.
Okay, no worries. So you basically produce frames for glasses for 4 US dollars and you sell it for 100, 150, 200, or 400, or even $1,000. Okay, so production costs doesn't really matter. So you say maybe it's expensive to produce the lens to the glasses, so the optical element. And I had to break it to you, but it's not very expensive either. So when you are buying glasses, you are basically overpaying every time you buy a pair of ones. Obviously, you need them. And the companies that are actively selling glasses are earning on the need for having something that would improve your sight. So Warby and Parker, two students from the USA, they were students at the university, and they were not really rich. They needed glasses, and they couldn't find any in a reasonable price. So they thought, "Oh, come on, we will found a company that will be producing glasses." This was their idea. So they were working on the idea for a very long time. They were searching for suppliers. They were designing the frames by themselves. They were trying to find some companies that would supply them with lenses of a reasonable quality for a reasonable price. And finally, several years ago, they give it a try and they started the company. What's new about the company itself? You can actually try glasses on the website. So you can see how you will most likely look like when you wear a certain design on your face. Okay, let's shop glasses. I've chosen the man. You can see we got the frames for 95 US dollars, which is very competitive price. Because I wanted to remind you, the cost of production is approximately 4 or 5 US dollars. So this makes a sense for the company, and this is very competitive because if you want to buy nice glasses, you have to spend more like 200, 300 US dollars, okay, in most cases. So let's say that I would like, for example, crane glasses for myself, and there is a novelty. We can try it virtually. Hopefully it will work. Okay, it doesn't really work that well. I'm looking strange. Okay, sorry guys. I maybe should focus closer to the camera. No, it's too small, definitely. I think it's for kids. Uh, something's wrong with the website. Maybe it's about my browser. I don't know. However, you can choose colors. It will take some time for sure to fit, and it refit. I think refit is a must. I'm ready. No, it doesn't really refit that well. Maybe it's because I am on the other camera streaming for you. So, guys, basically, this was the novelty. As you can see, as a novelty, it isn't really working well. And frankly speaking, if I am to buy a new glasses, I would search for similar opportunities. They were, to my knowledge, they were one of the first to the market to offer such possibility. To check the glasses before you buy them online. And you can also return them if you are not satisfied with the glasses you received. So this is really novel. It required investment in a web page to be able to offer to customers ability to fit the glasses before you make a purchase decision. Right now, more and more stores are offering this type of try on virtually possibilities. However, when they started, it was one of the first to the market. And frankly speaking, I thought this is really a risky idea because, for example, if you go to, if you are searching for glasses in Poland, you are basically facing a huge competition because there are numerous places where you can buy glasses. No matter which shopping center you choose, you will find at least several points where you can buy some glasses, and there is professional assistance, there is frequently a doctor available, and so on and so on. However, the prices do reflect that complexity and do reflect high costs of maintaining the stores in traditional stores. So why can they offer lower prices? First of all, as I mentioned, the profitability on glasses is really high in general, so they can reduce the price, reduce their margin, and still, be fully able to capitalize on it. They do not have to have physical stores because they sell it online with possibility of giving it back. So how does the service looks like? Let's imagine we want these type of glasses. I don't know, maybe not for me, okay, but select lenses. I can see single vision, correct for one field of vision, near, immediate, or distance, or progressives, or non-prescription, or for readers. We've got several options. Let's say I want progressives because I am old. I can add some add-ons. Let's say I want light responsive, and I want it to be gray. Maybe not that much. No, that's okay. Lens material, polycarbonate, no thanks. And it's quite expensive because of the lenses which I've chosen. So edit selections and single vision. Okay. And let's say standard. Okay, subtotal 95. Let's say classic, polycarbonate. So I basically pay like 400 zlotys for a pair of glasses. No thanks. I can add it to cart and I can resend it within, I believe, a month from the purchase date, which is quite nice. Okay, and you go to the cart and you pay for the glasses you've chosen. Obviously, you have different payment options. Since it is only for the USA, you got mainly Apple Pay. Everyone is using iPhone in the United States. So there is no need for example, Android payment options, because the majority of the customers will still feel comfortable paying by Apple Pay. However, if you choose the next step, They want you to sign in, obviously, to Warby Parker using your Google account and so on. I won't be registering. I am not going to buy these glasses today, so sorry to say it, but as you can see, it's quite streamlined and well-designed service in the meantime that you receive. And you do it from your home. You don't have to go to the shopping center. You don't have to fit several types of glasses. You can fit them virtually, unless obviously it works correctly. As you can see, it doesn't work correctly every time. However, you have to trust me that with the other occasions I tried these glasses on, they were fitting quite nicely, so it worked fine for me. What is very this is unfortunately unavailable in Europe. So you can only buy it when you are a US resident currently. Maybe we can see locations. Maybe they offered something. No, as you can see, they actually created in the meantime some stores where you can buy glasses, but there are not a lot of them. Actually, they are increasing their scope of operation and the market that they serve. However, it's for the US mainly. So Warby Parker is considered one of the fastest growing US companies. They actually outclassed all the competition with their offer. And when they entered the market, these were just 2 students. And they started their business, and they are right now giants. So it shows that if you don't risk, if you do not spend your time on designing your idea, if you do not focus on offering something different, innovative, if you are not proactive, actually, there is a story that when they were designing the name of the company, they created more than 600 different versions of the name for the company. 600. It took them, I believe, months to choose the proper name. And they could not find any that was reasonable, so they just opted for their surnames. Because Warby and Parker, these are the surnames of these students. And it sounds really nicely, in my opinion. It's a great name for the company. You can see if this is a first order, you can save 20%. That's wonderful. That's usual opportunities for customers. However, what I wanted to mention is that they are right now one of the largest companies selling glasses in the US, just several years after creation. And it's just a matter of being different and being better than the competition. If you look at this web page, it actually strongly resembles the web pages of tech companies. And that's really interesting, because if you go, for example, to Apple, which is the largest company, apart that their web page is right now black, it's really straightforward. So you basically see everything you need to see. And when you go to Warby Parker, this is not the main page, sorry. Does it remind you something? Isn't it similar to the way that Apple is actually promoting their products? It's really simple, it's really attractive, and also the process of ordering glasses is streamlined so that every customer could have the best experience. And you can pay with insurance, which is not the case for the European Union, unfortunately. At least not for Poland, because in other countries it might be different. So I personally would not like to wear the glasses as such like this one, but who knows? Maybe there is a market, and there should be, since they are offering the glasses. However, you can see that their business idea, although, companies are selling glasses for maybe not ages, but hundreds of years. And they just entered the market and dominated in the US because of the new new experience that they give to the customer, and also about the prices, because glasses can be really expensive in the US. So what you need to get is a prescription from your doctor. And when you got the prescription, you just go through the process and order the glasses you need. So these guys really risked quite a lot because they made a lot of effort, a lot of challenge to try to start their business, but they managed to succeed, which is really nice in my opinion. Maybe there is some information about the company itself so that you can see it. About us, our story. Maybe there is. They do not explicitly mention a year when they started, but you have to believe me, it started like 12, 13 years ago. So the competition at the market was there. They were looking at the new company and doing nothing. And right now, if you go to Vision Express in Poland, which is, I think, the leader in glasses, let's check if we can try them on. Okay, Tommy Hilfiger. Let's imagine. But as you can see, they are right now offering the return of the glasses when you purchase them online, which was not the case before. I want to get known if I can try them on. Okay, let's imagine. Let's imagine this one. And you can see how expensive this can be. I didn't choose the most expensive frames for reference. Okay. I want photochrome. No. You can see. You can try them, at least as far I can find it on the website. And it's cluttered, in my opinion. It's the matter of service. And this is the largest company in Poland, at least to my knowledge. Maybe I am wrong, but this is one of the largest companies in Poland. And you cannot try them on. So they are not offering this type of service. And they are still offering, buy glasses. You can't try them on before, but buy them. Maybe you like them or not. You can always return the glasses you don't like, but still, I don't want to participate in a survey. It's cluttered, in my opinion, as a website. And there are pop-ups, which I hate. So as you can see, the innovation in this instance might make a difference. It's just a matter of proper timing, offering something that is different, not be afraid of taking a risk, which is directly related to your activity all the time, no matter what you start, where you start, what type of business you want to carry out. There is always a risk involved, and be sure that the higher the risk, the higher possible profits should be in most cases. And it's like this: if you gamble, you have the theoretical possibility of winning a lot. If you play poker or, I don't know, in casino, you might win a lot, but you can also lose everything. So there, the risk, actually there is uncertainty, not a risk. The uncertainty is 100%, so you never know if you are going to win. But in this instance, the reward for the event that you win is extremely high. It's the same for business. So no risk, no gains, basically. There is nothing like a risk-free business. And I can give you numerous examples apart from it, but let's stop with Warby Parker. They are currently one of the leaders of the market in the US. Yet the company is really, really nice. Sorry, young, I meant. I want to leave, okay? So basically, the idea was coined when they were students, when they were at the university. They wanted to buy a pair of glasses, they couldn't afford it the way they wanted. So they thought, oh, come on, maybe we will start a company. It's just a matter of attitude, as you can see. And there is a common proverb in Poland, and I think it's also in other countries, that proverb, maybe not a proverb, but a conviction that once a year you have an idea that if it is realized properly, it would make you a billionaire, but you have to risk and try it. If you don't risk, there will be nothing out of it. Okay, guys, clear so far? We've discussed the pillars of entrepreneurship, which are innovation, risk-taking, and proactiveness. These are the core themes of entrepreneurship, the core parts of a so-called entrepreneurial orientation. Yep. Yeah, and that's what Warby Parker, digital business. You mean fully digital? Well, yes, you are to some extent right. It is safer for sure because you risk less. You don't have to invest a lot of money, basically. If you opt for e-trade, for example, so you want to sell some products that you purchase, for example, from China or India or other countries, and you want to sell them on the domestic market using e-trade model, that's fully possible. That's safer. However, the real gains start when you start engaging in production, and that's one thing you have to understand. Services are difficult to do online because in most cases there are lots of companies, lots of competition right now in the market. So for example, if you want to start your business by positioning web pages of other brands or other companies, there is a huge competition in the market. Some of the companies are actually doing it by themselves and so on. So services is something which is difficult to get into. Maybe on a B2B basis, it might be different. If you offer very specific services, and right now I can give you an idea for a business that in Europe will flourish within the next years. Do you know what is ESG? Have you heard about it?
Probably not.
How come you haven't heard about ESG? ESG, it's the new standard for European companies. And basically, you can see Sustainable Fitch Solutions company. This is a consulting company that is offering some services. ESG is about, generally speaking, protection of the natural environment, and every company is responsible for protecting of the environment. And beginning from 2024, I believe that all the companies large companies, not the small ones, will have to report on their ESG activities, and actually no one knows how to do it. There is a huge gap of knowledge between the inventors of the idea of reporting your influence as a company on the environment, broadly understood. So natural environment, societal environment, and so on. So you have to report on how you act to create a sound environment around your business. So this is going to grow really fast because it's necessitated. The need for ESG reporting is created by legal regulations, basically speaking, by European Union. The same applies to the US. The rest of the world doesn't really care about it, but in Europe, there will be a huge need for reporting something that previously wasn't reported at all, because companies, sometimes they were making some corporate social responsibility disclosures. Sometimes they were devoting some time to create a report for stakeholders, but right now they will be obliged to do it by law, beginning from this year, I believe, for the large companies. And large companies have no knowledge. So there is a chance of serving these companies with solutions that will help them to report on their influence on the environment. And since it really is going to affect the way businesses operate, to some extent, some companies do have to do it right now. For example, if we were talking about steel industry or mining industry, they have to report on how they treat the environment. How much do they pollute? How much do they, destroy the natural beauty of the environment, and so on and so on. So, offering solutions that will help to monitor and report on your ESG activities for companies will be necessary. And there are companies, created at hundreds, I think, every month right now, which are offering something that is called ESG reporting. CSRD, it's similar to ESG, basically, requirements. ESG reporting, as you can see, is all about disclosing information covering an organization's operations and risks in three areas: environmental, which refers to natural environment mainly; stewardship, okay, so how they serve the society; and social responsibility, as well as corporate governance. So this is something that company didn't have to do before. And right now, by the legal regulations that are imposed by inter alia European Union commissions, they will have to generate reports yearly, and there is no knowledge on how to do it. So there is a new profession growing, and this profession will be related to ESG reporting, ESG monitoring, and so on. And for the large companies, within the large companies, there will be created separate positions which will focus directly on ESG reporting, so that the company looks nice in the eyes of the controllers, because there will be created, some European institutions that will control companies, whether they influence the environment or not. This is the part of the corporate social responsibility, which existed for years, actually, because companies starting from 1970s reported on how responsible about their employees or the neighborhood of the company, surroundings they are, how they treat how environmental their products are, and so on, right? But right now, they will be obliged to do it. Whether they are willing or not, there is not a choice. You have to. And if you have to, according to the law, well, it obviously costs. if you don't have the necessary resources, if you do not have necessary competencies for ESG reporting, you will have to buy, a service outside of the company. So you will have to pay for the external company for helping with ESG reporting. And that's what large companies are actually doing. They are paying consultancy companies for helping them to monitor how they act in terms of ESG, especially the companies that are polluting, especially the companies that are producing something. They should be worried about. Is it good or bad? I am not here to judge. In my opinion, it would be better if the company's owners, producers, or organizations in general would come up with an idea. Oh, come on, we have to be socially responsible. We have to take care of our natural environment. But since it is not the case, they were forced to focus on limiting their impact on the environment they are operating in. And ESG reporting is an important part. It's quite challenging because it hasn't been done before to such a large scale. So there are lots of companies that are offering solutions. As you can see, PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, ESG reporting and preparation of sustainability report. You can purchase it from the PwC, which is a great company, right? EY, ESG reporting. Deloitte, how can ESG reporting help fight climate change? IBM, what is ESG reporting? They will soon offer online solutions for sure for companies for easy ESG reporting. And there are such solutions already created. However, I think that for you, there is still a possibility. Last year, one of my colleagues from the university started postgraduate studies on ESG reporting. And you couldn't imagine, there were like 30 or 40 people willing to pay for the studies, postgraduate studies, and spend their time on learning how to report on this, let's say, green issues. Okay? So there is a new market creating on our eyes right now. And what you should actually do is start reading about it and thinking about the company that you would create to help companies. You are about to be graduated right now. You are full of energy. And you can see there is a chance. There is a huge chance that you might succeed on this market. Think about creative solutions because there are none currently, or very few currently. Large companies, they have already realized there is a market. But for sure, there is also a market for smaller companies or newcomers right now. Because it was just born, it just started. So this is the right timing to invest into the new company on ESG reporting, basically. ESG monitoring and reporting. What you can do, you can read about ESG standards, and they are explicitly mentioned in European Commission documents. You can read what you should report. You can think about the ways companies might report. You might create a tool that will help companies to report on their ESG targets, and so on and so on. Lots of possibilities, but you have to be open and look where the new chances are created. And this chance was created by law. It's the best chance you can have, because every organization, no matter if large organization, no matter if the company wants to or doesn't want to, it will have to report on these issues. So it's just a matter of taking some risks, spending some time, inventing a tool, and starting. You can do it online. So coming back to the basic question, isn't it safe to start a business type. Yeah, for sure, it's cheaper. And you don't have to invest a lot. However, large money starts with production, basically. And if you ask me why is actually Chinese economy so well developed, and why is it so rich right now? Because the Chinese economy is rich as hell, in my opinion, is that they understood one thing that the rest of the world didn't really understand. That if you have human resources in abundance, so if you have lots of people in the country and you focus on production, you will basically grow. And that's what happened. 20 years ago, if someone would tell me that China is going to be one of the largest economies in Europe, I would say, oh, come on, the US is the leader. There is UK, Russia, and other countries, which were definitely more developed than China. China did one thing. Because of the low labor costs, they attracted foreign investors, opened manufacturing facilities. These facilities were actually created by investors to a large extent. So the investors were paying for creating the facilities to produce some goods. And they started production to a large extent. And right now, China is one of the richest, if not the richest country in the world. Obviously, if we talk about the standards of living and how well are people doing in China, that's to some extent different story, but it's also improving quite rapidly because companies are paying better their employees. If employees are earning more, they can afford more. So the living standard is increasing as well as a result. And right now, they can afford to buy nearly everything. If you heard about, for example, Serbian city Bor, this is a city in Serbia, okay? A small country in Europe, okay? They invested heavily into the mine in the city. Chinese investors in Europe buying a mining company. Can you imagine that, like 20 years ago, that there would be a Chinese investor paying for or buying the company in Europe? Not at all. Right now, it's the reality. And they have enough money to buy all the Europe, in my opinion. It's just they do not want to. Because why? This would be the question. The market is 500 million customers. It is a large market, but not the largest one. China alone is 3 times the size of the European Union. So why bother? But they invested in Serbia because they've seen there is a potential. And that as a result, the city of Bor is actually developing nicely because of these foreign investments. So right now, Chinese companies are starting to, for the past 10 years, basically, are starting to invest in different parts of the world, buying half of the New York and so on and so on. So basically, guys, the real business starts with production, offering something that you make by yourself. Services can also generate a lot of profits. If you look at consulting companies that are doing great, most of their activities are actually currently online. So you can purchase some service online, just pay for it. It's easy. Okay? But it's quite challenging to become, a significant entrepreneur only on the basis of service. There are much more large producing companies that we know, that we use the products of, than of the services companies. And this is not, this is a regularity. So starting a business online is for sure cheaper, safer, but it still requires a lot of effort and a lot of proactivity. So you have to act in order to be successful. Okay, guys, I hope that's clear. Okay?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, guys, so we got basically two types of innovations in the business. What you've seen in Warby Parker, how do you think? Was it a radical innovation or was it incremental innovation? What's your opinion about it?
Can you repeat the question, please?
How do you think? If we talk about Warby Parker, the company that is selling glasses, is it a radical innovation or incremental innovation?
I think it was a radical innovation.
Yeah. As for the way they are offering the glasses, it was radical innovation because they just offered something that previously was unthought of. So they basically entered with their product to the mass market. They offered their product to mass market by the use of different method of delivering the product or servicing your customer. This was radical. However, if you look at glasses, it is just a small incremental innovation. So what's the difference between radical and incremental? There is nothing like a clean border. So you can't say explicitly, this is radical innovation and that innovation is incremental. So it is basically, it is based on your judgments, how you treat it. Examples of radical innovations, there are numerous of, not numerous of, there are lots of examples of incremental innovations. And frankly speaking, radical innovations usually occur when something totally new comes to the market, and it happens really rarely. So, for example, if we look at one of the most famous radical innovations in the world, one for sure for all of us is introduction of iPhone. It was a radical innovation at that time, although not truly. And I wanted to surprise you because most of us think we are convinced that Apple actually started the trend of smartphones, that before Apple there were only mobile phones, and when Apple entered they were fully revolutionary. So this was a revolution to the large international scale, which is not the case. When the first iPhone was introduced, previously, before the iPhone was introduced, there were smartphones even more capable of handling different tasks at the very same time. But Apple had something different. And that's what matters. Apple was the first one to explicitly say to customers, you are going to use your finger to navigate the screen, not the keyboard. Because, just to give you some points of reference, you might not be familiar, and I am actually quite interested in new technologies. Apple introduced the first iPhone. Do you remember the year?
New iPhone was announced in 2007, I think.
The first iPhone ever was released in 2007, September. Okay, and I wanted to show you Sony Ericsson product. P900 or P910 doesn't really matter. Does it resemble something? I know it's a lot, definitely more cluttered. It has, the keyboard, and it has a touch capacitive screen, so you can actually input information directly on the screen. And if you look at the year it was introduced, this smartphone, because it was a smartphone, just a second, I'm searching for the date because I don't remember.
First released in January 2004.
It was 3 years before the iPhone. And even before the iPhone, there was, awkwardly looking type of a smartphone, first released September 2002. Oh, come on, they were 5 years before the Apple released the touchscreen mobile device. They said it's the first of a kind. You could do everything on this device. You can believe me because I had this phone. You could do everything that you could do on the first iPhone on this Sony Ericsson P800 device. And you could do much more because you could actually swap the battery if you wanted. It has an internal storage that you could input, stick up memory sticks, Sony memory sticks into the device to enlarge it. The display was TFT type, not like the one in the iPhone, and there was not a glass because you were basically inclined to or forced by the manufacturer to some extent to operate the phone with the use of a small pen, right? Because the finger was really inconvenient and the system was not ready. The iPhone changed actually the interface. The device itself was less cluttered, was nicely designed, but there was nothing really revolutionary about the iPhone if you look at it. What was revolutionary was the system that was designed so that you could effectively use it with your finger. That was the main difference. And people didn't realize that it is convenient to use your finger at the touch screen as such back in 2007. Because the most popular mobile phone in the US was, the brand? Was BlackBerry. This was the type of the phone that was used by the majority of people in 2008. Actually, it was 2010. This was released. 50% of the market share in the US in 2007, when the first iPhone was introduced, was held by the company which isn't really existing anymore, BlackBerry. They had 50% market share. Can you imagine that? It's like, millions of devices in hands of users. How they screw it up? How they manage to, get demolished by the competition? That's one thing that I cannot understand really. That's one of the biggest failures in the mobile industry, apart from Nokia, obviously. Because Nokia was the largest company producing mobile phones, and they not really got the idea of transferring to smartphones, so that's why they died. And if we talk about BlackBerry, even the US president and all the governmental employees were using BlackBerries because they were safe. They could do much more than the first iPhone. They were actually really innovative products, but too complicated. Who wants to use a traditional keyboard that you have to press? Not a touch sensitive screen, so you could not input your information directly on the screen. And it was a phone. It was not a smartphone. So Steve Jobs actually changed one thing, and he won the race for the companies. And if you look at Apple, this is, frankly speaking, really nice example. Because what they did to the market is unprecedented. So they entered with a new, and we can say it was not a new product, but they entered with a new product. They said it is revolutionary, and everybody jumped onto the bandwagon. In the United States, if you carry out a survey in the US, like 90% of all the young generation is using iPhones, nothing else. How do you do it? Are iPhones better than the competition? Well, not at all. They are similar respect. Well, the ecosystem is different. I am also working on an Apple device, so it's difficult to leave the system once you enter, because you get so accustomed to certain solutions that you cannot imagine moving back to Windows, for example. That's how it works. So if you look at the companies, BlackBerry was a leader in 2007, 50% market share. In 2012, their stocks prices dropped 10 times. So in 2007, stocks prices for BlackBerry were approximately $150 per share. And in 2010, 2012, it was around 16. This is how the company devalued. They didn't understand that there is a real threat when Apple is coming with the product to the market. Actually, Apple, well, it wasn't really well known. It was a known company, but it was known because of the creator, Steve Jobs, and the manager and owner. This is the person that stood behind Apple, and one person destroyed the whole market because of the influence, because of the creativity of ideas, and so on and so on. And Apple is great with such things, and we should learn from them. In 2010, they introduced the first iPad, and come on, who needs an iPad? It's underdeveloped computer with no keyboard, difficult to operate. And if you want to do something serious on an iPad, it's really challenging, at least for me. And I struggled to learn. I don't need an iPad, yet I still got two at home and never use them. From time to time, I just check my calendar on iPad. That's all I do. Actually, my kids are using from time to time when they want to. Nobody needs an iPad, yet everyone, if there is a possibility to buy, is going to buy it. That's fun. And that's really interesting. So guys, what I wanted to show you is that actually Apple is, this is exceptional company. We might not like it. We might even hate the business model that they have, that they charge like 600 euros for wheels to your computer. I mean, literally wheels. You should know it. You just buy, 700 US dollars, 4 wheels for your computer. These are very nicely done, very sturdy, and they are going to last a lifetime, but you are going to spend 700 US dollars on wheels for your MacBook Pro. Who wants to buy some? And believe me, people are buying these. And then there's also some accessories, really fun. Accessories for iPhone. Just give me a second. I wanted to show you something. Cases and protection. Then there are cases. They are overpriced, basically, in my opinion. I'm searching for something very specific. Maybe I can search. Sorry, oh no, they are not offering microfiber clothes. Just a second. You can buy exclusive Apple designed and made by Apple a piece of cloth to clean your iPhone. Really. For $30, 30 US dollars. I could buy like 100 of such nicely done by Chinese companies cleaning cloths for my iPhone. for a fraction of the price. They are perfect with things like this. And the newest release, the VR glasses are the example. Nobody needs it, really. Vision. Nobody needs it. Why do you need it for? It's chunky, it's large, it's heavy. It is wonderfully designed. It has wonderful capabilities, but you actually can't use it. It's really challenging to drive a car in such glasses. Try it. If you got 3,500 US dollars, obviously, and you live in the US because you can't buy it outside. So why do they release it? Just to prove that the concept is possible. This is the proof of concept on the side of Apple. They do not want to make money out of it, yet they still do. People just went to stores and bought everything that was accessible. Can I buy it? Now the measuring and so on. No, well, it would take me more time than I thought that I would just go to buy it instantly. I can't because I don't live in the US and they are not selling it outside of the US. So does anybody really need this type of glasses? Could you imagine walking on the street with glasses like these? And right now we say, oh, come on, it's impossible. Beware, beware. In 2-3 years, you will more and more frequently see people using wearable technologies like these. They will slowly replace, in my opinion, smartphones that we use. Slowly, to some extent. Frankly speaking, I've never seen anyone with VR glasses on the street so far, but it might change. There's something new. And as a proof of concept, Apple just released like a month ago or so, VR glasses, Apple Vision Pro like these. And they are, when the reviewers took them, they said, oh, that's the best in the market. Yes, that's what they do. This is the richest company in the world. They can afford it. But come on, do we really need it as customers? And it was actually created for developers so that they could, create an ecosystem for later products. Because right now there are no apps for designed specifically, external apps designed specifically for Apple Vision Pro. So this is the first release. They are just checking the market if it ticks. And I think it did. Because during the first day, they had the sale that they didn't anticipate before. They didn't realize they can sell so much devices, especially that expensive, 3,500 US dollars. That's a lot. That's a lot for us, maybe not for the company. Company can afford it. Let's just buy 10 of them, right? 35,000 US dollars. For the company, it's nothing. For us, it's a lot of cash. And actually, you are buying something, you are unsure if it's going to work because it's the first release on Apple's side. And people, when they bought it, they were sure it's going to work. They didn't even think about the possibility it might not work. Why? Because this is one of the core values of the company, such as Apple. They know why people are buying their products. And people are buying their products because they can depend on it. When you go to the store and take an iPhone, you know it's going to work. You are sure about it as Apple customer. Because if you are from the other manufacturer, you are, for example, using Samsung stuff, you wouldn't be so sure. So coming back, because I am not going to go through the lecture if I go that slow, is Apple Vision Pro a radical innovation? Meh. Well, we do have some VR sets available on the market, much cheaper, like 1/7 of the price. You can buy Google VR or whatever other companies offering this type of solutions. They are not that good. They are not that efficient. They are not that capable, but still they exist. So Apple is not the first one to the market. But right now, really, nearly no one is talking about Google VR sets, and everybody is talking about Apple VR sets. And that's interesting. Google is a large company, second largest in the world. And yet everybody is talking about Apple. And not just because they released their VR glasses, but because there is something to talk about. And the price, who cares? So guys, there is a very thin line between a radical and incremental innovation. And you have to understand that these radical innovations do happen rarely in the business. It's once in a time. We cannot say how frequently. For sure, the first iPhone was a radical innovation, but for different reasons, not because of the technology, but because of the ecosystem and the way you actually used your phone. This was the time when people started to use the phone to consume media, to watch movies, because you could do it on a larger screen. And it was easy to use, so everybody could do it. So Apple changed not the smartphone market itself, because smartphones were existing at the time, but they changed the way you actually treat your smartphone, because previously it was just, a device that you could make a call on. You could send a short message, SMS, right? You could send an email, which was a case for BlackBerry. You could receive email, you could manage your account. You could even play some stupid games like Snake on the first Nokia devices, but it was not developed. Apple created an ecosystem, and the device was just so that customers could use it. And it was designed in the way that Apple usually designs its products. Steve Jobs was really a visionary, because he envisioned that people are buying simplicity. They want it to work. They want it to be, nice. It's all about the design, the feeling you have, and not about the technology that's inside. And that's something that other companies can't still grasp, because they are investing in new processors and new RAM and so on and so on. And it's not about the technology that is behind it. It's about the feeling that the user has. That's the difference. In my opinion, subjective, but actually other people are also saying so. I feel justified to say it. So the basic question is, can you manage innovation in a company? When you already have a company and you want it to be innovative, do you have to do it yourself, or maybe someone could help you? And frankly speaking, if you don't have a team that is working with you on a product or on a service, in most cases, you won't be able to come up with something really different, because it's really challenging to propose something new that is not existing, because our knowledge is limited. That's the first thing. We do not know everything that happens in the environment. We do not know all the trends. We do not, follow everything that happens in the world. So the more people are gathered around you, with a certain limits, obviously, the better for your company. But you have to provide them with time to think about new products. And what are actually most companies do, the owner starts the business and let's serve our customers. And they are spending like 18 hours a day serving customers, not thinking about how to improve. And there is no time to improve, because you are so busy serving your customers that you are not developing. And this is the basic contradiction. So when you are a business owner and you have your company running, you have to find some time to sit down and think, what can I do better? How can I improve upon it? That's what large companies are doing. They are doing it via the specialized departments. They are called research and development departments. These departments are responsible for developing the offer of the company, developing the company further. if you do not develop, you are basically, declining. And that's the saddest and the most difficult thing about the business. So how successful entrepreneurs manage innovation? So basically, you have to treat innovation as a process, and you have to create conditions to enable the company to repeat the trick. So, usually when a new company starts, it starts with a great offer, right? It starts with something new, and you are sure it's going to, click on the market. So you're going to get some cash out of your customers. So you are offering something new. You have been thinking about the product for a year or so, and then you just make it and you release it. And let's call it the system ticks. So the customers are buying your products. And every product has a certain lifetime. And let's imagine you are coming to the market with some offering that is not available online currently or in the market currently. So you are offering something new. And this product lasts at market for a year and a half. If during that time you won't find enough ideas to propose something new, the market will be replaced with modern competition offerings. So after a year and a half, your company will basically decline if you do not renew your product. And a year and a half is just an example. It depends on the industry, obviously. So this lifetime of your product is dependent on the industry you are operating in. If you do not change quickly enough, if you do not offer something new, you will be replaced by the company. And it happens all the time. And just last example for today, because I'm giving too much examples during my classes. I just realized I have to do more theory with you guys. Frankly speaking, the theory is quite boring comparing to examples, in my opinion, in this regard. I want to show you a product. Have I shown you Remarkable, the paper tablet? Have you seen it before?
Yes, I did.
But did I show it to you?
No.
Okay. So guys, basically this is Remarkable tablet edition 2. It was crowdfunded. So the company gathered the cash from the future customers on the market to release. Right now, it's in the market for 5 years. And there is nothing new coming from the company. They did not come up with anything better than this. What is it for? It's for note-taking, for someone who likes to write with a pen. It's a good, reliable device. Although when you look at specs, these are not great. They do not even market, okay? It's slim, 0.9 inch, so it's very slim. But you can't find, details about this product too much. It's just about, oh, look, it's nice. Buy it. Why is it so? You can't find the specs here. Just information, lots of information. How you can use it, what you can do with it. This is, paper-like surface. So when you write with a pen, you get the feeling of writing on a paper, which is quite nice. I've been using it for some time, and then I realized I would still prefer the ordinary paper. 2 weeks of battery life. No one says how large is the battery actually. 2 weeks. And they say it's a tablet. It's not a tablet because you can't do most things that you can do on a tablet or on a computer on Remarkable. Oh, right now. But look how far I had to scroll down to get the information. You can see at the processor 1.2 gigahertz. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you can see right now when you are buying a mobile phone, it is 4-5 times that powerful, if not 20 times that powerful. 1 gigabyte of RAM, 8 gigabytes of internal storage. What's that? Is that 2008 or so? Because these are the specs of the product from 2008, and they are selling this tablet to the market. Because it's not, the technicalities are not necessary in this instance. You got Wi-Fi 2.4 and 5, oh, that's okay. USB-C, that's great, right? Battery, you can see, is 3000 milliamperes, which is great. And it supports only PDF and EPUB, nothing more. You can't watch a video on the screen because it's e-ink. You can watch a video on that. So how much does it cost? How do you think? How much would you pay for it? How much, Tomasz? Would you 600 Polish zlotys? US dollars. You would overpay. For 600, you can get an iPad. Yeah, okay.
Actually, I watched an ad on YouTube about that because I was looking for a tablet to note taking for university, but I didn't choose that one. It was more expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's 350 euros. You can see it's a lot as for the tablet, because you could, adding some additional 100 US dollars, you can buy an iPad. And you can actually put some screen on an iPad and you can take notes on an iPad as well. No problem. And when you buy the tablet, you have to buy, the pencil separately. It's not included. So it's not the final price. It's expensive. Yeah, you can see buy now, and you choose marker or marker, ordinary marker or marker plus, and you are paying 129 euros for a marker, and you can use it without it. That's fun. So actually you are paying like 500 euros for the product to be fully functional. And then maybe you want some folio for 69 euros or 159 euros, or maybe you want to type on it, so you need a keyboard for 200 euros. You can see total 700 euros. You can buy a computer for this price. Does it really make sense? But the competition is fierce on this market. There are alternatives. Just one thing. There is Onyx Books, which is, I think, owned by Samsung. I'm not pretty sure. Books tablet, right? Lenovo Smart Paper. Huion Note Smart Notebook. Well, that has to be Chinese for sure. There is some competition. And if you look at, for example, books, which is a competition, it's similarly priced, I guess, but it's definitely better spec'd. 64 gigabytes of storage, not 8. 64 is still not a lot, but it has 4 gigabytes of RAM. It has Android running on. In the latter case, you didn't have Android, you just got operating system created by the company itself. And it has the same capabilities, but it does it faster and it's cheaper. And it comes with a pen. Okay? It is monochrome. You can also buy color version, which is much more expensive. It's still expensive, 450. But comparing the price to Remarkable, it's cheaper. It's equally nice design, in my opinion. And it even comes with a cover. Included, you don't have to pay for it. So Why is it so? Well, the Remarkable 2 was released in 2018, I believe, or 2019. So it is 5-year-old product. It is outdated. It's irrelevant contemporarily, considering how fast the market is changing, how fast our needs are growing. So, guys, to sum it up, you have to create conditions to repeatedly innovate. If you don't do it, your company will fail. So you have to build so-called dynamic capabilities, the abilities to adapt to the environment actively when it's changing, actually being ahead of the competition. And I know that's true and everybody knows it. It's still companies are so focused on doing everyday business that they forget that they have to develop. That's why lots of companies die every year. So think about innovation not as one-time action, but as a repeated process. That's what the companies that are succeeding doing all the time. That is what Samsung is doing. That is what Apple is doing. That is what, I don't know, Sony with their cameras are doing, and so on and so on. That's what actually Misala is doing, introducing new products every year, so the customers have something new to choose from. So this is the reason. And I think we'll stop with that. Guys, thank you for your attention. We just managed to cover 4 slides. I will drop all the slides so far. There are not much to cover by the end of the first lecture. Okay, so I will drop it to your classroom so that you have access to that. And we will finish the lecture during our next meeting, okay? Just an introduction to entrepreneurship and innovation in business. Okay, guys, hope it was not a lost time for you. Thank you so much for your active participation, for all the questions. It was a pleasure to meet you today, albeit virtually, but still it's nice. So thanks a lot. Have a nice day, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Can I have a question? Just
Yes, Rebecca?
I just didn't join the first class because I didn't have this subject in my online learning agreement. So I just wanted to ask you, like, what are the how we can pass the subject, or if we will do some test, some group work, or presentation, or
There are some
something like that.
information. Rebecca,
Mm-hmm.
there is a written exam, 3 types of
Yeah. Okay.
questions. Open-ended, semi-open-ended, I should say single choice, the first one. Sorry for that. Single choice questions, like 10,
Mm-hmm.
10 of them, 3 semi-open-ended question, and 1 open-ended question, which is a problem basically to write. It will be on handled online, so you will be writing the final test online with. You have to just join the class, and I will send you the link to the test. So
Okay, so just a test, yeah?
Yeah, just the test.
Okay.
Because there are just 15 hours. So what else can we do? And it will be carried out during our last meeting. Okay? So
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
and everything that you need to know is included in the presentation I am going to supply to you. Everything clear?
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Even other questions, guys?
No. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.